7 signs someone doesn't like you but is pretending. Stoic philosophy. Have you ever felt that someone doesn't like you, yet they remain polite? They may smile, talk, and engage in small talk, but something feels off. Body language, tone of voice, and subtle cues can reveal their true thoughts. Have you ever noticed? Someone responds to your messages with short, one-word answers and never asks questions in return. A person constantly avoids making eye contact with you. They joke around, but there's a hint of sarcasm or hidden meaning behind their words. When you speak, they seem uninterested or even ignore you. These are small but crucial signs that help you recognize who genuinely likes you and who is just pretending. Why do they pretend? It could be out of politeness, personal benefits, or simply because they don't want to draw attention to their feelings. But you don't have to keep guessing. In this video, we'll break down the 7 subtle signs that reveal when someone doesn't like you but tries to hide it. What does Stoic philosophy say? People who don't like you are not your problem. What truly matters is how you respond. Stoicism teaches us to observe without emotional bias, stay unaffected by negativity, and focus only on what we can control. You don't need validation from everyone. Focus on yourself, develop your values, and keep moving forward. Watch until the end to learn how to spot these signs. And if you've ever been in a similar situation, share your experience in the comments. Sign 1. They respond coldly and never ask about you. Have you ever had a conversation that felt completely one-sided? You're the one asking questions, trying to keep the conversation going, but the other person only gives short, uninterested responses. Real-life example, a dull conversation. You, do you have any plans this weekend? Them, no. You, did you have fun last week? Them, it was okay. You, how have you been? Them, normal. End of conversation. No questions back, no engagement, no effort to keep the conversation alive. If someone truly likes or cares about you, they wouldn't want the conversation to die out. They would at least respond with a full sentence or ask you something in return. Not yet, what about you? Any plans? It was fun. Did you do anything exciting? Been busy, but how about you? The difference lies in their interest level. If they never ask about you, it means they aren't invested in the conversation and don't really care about you. Is it their personality or do they dislike you? Here's how to tell the difference. If they are talkative and engaging with others but only give you short answers, they might not like you. If they avoid talking to you in group settings, only speaking when necessary, it's a strong sign. If they don't remember anything you've told them before, like your interests or job, they probably don't care enough to listen. However, if they are quiet with everyone, they may just be introverted or not good at conversations. The key is to observe how they interact with others. Stoic advice: how to respond. 1. Don't force the conversation. If someone isn't interested, don't waste your energy trying to engage them. Focus on those who appreciate your presence. 2. Observe how they treat others. If they are friendly to everyone else but indifferent to you, it's a clear sign they don't like you. 3. Stay calm and don't take it personally. Stoicism teaches that you can't control others, only your reactions. If someone doesn't care about you, accept it and move on. 4. Prioritize those who genuinely value you. Stop chasing people who don't want to connect. Instead, invest your time in people who actually enjoy your company. Have you ever encountered someone who responded this way? Share your experience in the comments. Sign 2. They only talk to you when necessary. Have you ever met someone who never initiates a conversation unless they absolutely have to? They don't openly dislike you, but it's obvious they have no interest in building any kind of relationship with you. They might smile, nod, or be polite when needed, but deep down, you know that if there were no external circumstances forcing the conversation, they wouldn't talk to you at all. Real-life examples. Example 1. In the workplace. You work at a tech company with a colleague named Jake. He isn't rude or openly unfriendly, but you can tell he has no interest in talking to you. How to recognize the signs. During lunch breaks, Jake chats with others but never engages you in conversation. He only speaks to you when necessary, like, "Hey, can you send me that report? Did you check the email from the boss?" After getting his answer, he immediately ends the conversation. No small talk. If you don't speak first, he never initiates a conversation. When forced to work together, he remains professional but distant. How to respond. Don't try to force a connection. If Jake isn't interested in being friends, let it be. Keep it professional. Don't let his indifference affect your work. Focus on coworkers who appreciate you. One distant colleague shouldn't ruin your mood. Example 2. In a friend group. You're part of a friend group, and there's someone named Emily who seems distant toward you. How to recognize the signs. When hanging out, Emily laughs and talks with others but never asks you questions. If you try to start a conversation, she responds briefly without asking anything in return. You, Emily, have you watched any good movies lately? Emily, yeah, I saw Dune 2 last week. Silence. No follow-up question. She only messages you in the group chat when she needs information, like, "Hey, what's the address of the restaurant?" But she never texts just to chat. How to respond. Don't seek approval from Emily. If she isn't interested, let it go. Pay attention to people who enjoy talking to you. Focus on genuine friendships. Be polite but don't force interactions. If it's clear she isn't interested, keep it neutral. Example 3. In school or college. You have a classmate, Michael, who has never initiated a conversation with you unless necessary. How to recognize the signs. When the professor assigns pairs, Michael works with you, but only discusses what's required. If you sit next to him in class, he never talks unless you start first. In group chats, he actively engages with others but never messages you privately unless he needs something for class. How to respond. Don't take it personally. Maybe he just doesn't feel a connection, and that's okay. Don't force a friendship. If he doesn't initiate conversations, respect that. Focus on people who want to be in your life. There are plenty of people worth your energy. Stoic philosophy. Don't let emotions control you. Stoicism teaches us. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Someone's indifference toward you doesn't define your worth. Don't waste energy on people who don't care. Instead of worrying about who likes you, focus on growing yourself. Have you ever encountered someone with these signs? Share your story in the comments. Sign 3. Distant body language and lack of eye contact. Have you ever spoken to someone who never looks you in the eye, turns their body away, or seems eager to end the conversation as soon as possible? If so, this is a clear sign that they don't like you but are trying to hide it. Why do they avoid eye contact? They don't like you but don't want to be rude. They feel uncomfortable interacting with you. They don't value your words or presence. They are hiding something or feel guilty. They don't want to connect with you on a personal level. Example 1. Passing by someone who avoids eye contact. You run into an acquaintance on the street. When you greet them, they give a half-hearted nod, look away, avoid eye contact, and quickly walk off. This means they don't want to stop and talk to you but also don't want to appear too distant. Example 2. Being invisible in a group conversation. You're part of a group discussion. When others speak, everyone turns toward them and listens attentively. But when you speak, one person consistently looks away, checks their phone, or pretends not to hear. When the group laughs together, they don't react to your words. This suggests they don't care about your presence or don't like you. Example 3. Your boss avoids looking at you in a meeting. You're presenting an idea in a meeting. Some colleagues show interest, but your boss constantly looks down at their papers, phone, or computer screen, avoiding eye contact. When you finish speaking, they don't respond and instead move on to someone else. This may indicate they don't value your opinion or have no interest in you. Example 4. A cold reunion with an ex or old friend. You run into an ex or an old friend. When you try to start a conversation, they give short answers, avoid eye contact, and focus on something else, like their phone or watch. They might cross their arms, creating a physical barrier, or look away as if they want to end the encounter quickly. Example 5, avoidant coworker in the office. You work in the same team as a coworker, but they always avoid eye contact, reply to emails instead of speaking to you directly, and barely acknowledge you in the hallway. When the team gathers after work, they seem happy with others but never engage with you. Example 6, distant family member at a gathering. At a family reunion, you notice that a relative avoids interacting with you. They never ask about you, and when you talk to them, they only nod or give short responses without looking at you. This suggests they might have a bias against you or simply don't like you but don't want to make it obvious. How to recognize this sign of distance? They rarely or never make eye contact, only glancing at you briefly before looking away. Their body turns away from you instead of facing you directly. They cross their arms or create a barrier with objects like their phone, a cup, or a bag. They keep more physical distance than usual when standing or sitting near you. They respond slowly or indifferently when you talk. They give forced or no reaction when you speak. How to respond using Stoic philosophy. If you notice someone avoiding eye contact or acting distant, don't feel hurt or try to change them. The Stoic philosophy teaches that you can't control how others feel, but you can control how you react. If someone doesn't like you, that's not your problem. Focus on those who truly appreciate you. Observe and acknowledge the behavior, but don't let it shake your confidence or affect you negatively. Sign 4. They rarely or never smile genuinely at you. Have you ever tried to create a cheerful atmosphere, but the other person only gives a forced smile or doesn't react at all? A smile is one of the clearest indicators of whether someone genuinely likes you. If they always seem reluctant or insincere when smiling at you, they might be hiding their dislike. Fake smiles, when someone doesn't like you. Example 1, a polite but emotionless smile. You tell a funny story in a group, and everyone laughs loudly, except one person. They only smile faintly before quickly looking away or checking their phone. They don't join the conversation but smile just to be polite, as if waiting for the story to end. Sign, they don't actually find it funny but smile out of courtesy. Example 2, smiling briefly before changing the subject. You make a joke with a coworker. They smirk slightly but immediately switch the topic or ask about something unrelated. Sign, they don't want to continue the conversation and use a fake smile to end the interaction politely. Example 3, a forced smile in a group gathering. You're at a party, and someone says something funny, making the whole group laugh. You laugh too and look at another person for a shared reaction, but they only give a weak smile, glance at you briefly, and then turn away. Sign, they don't want to interact with you or don't feel connected to you. Example 4, a smile without connection. You meet an old friend on the street and greet them with a big smile, but they only smile slightly without any other facial expression before quickly making an excuse to leave. Sign, they no longer want to maintain a relationship with you but remain polite to avoid conflict. Example 5, they smile differently at you and others. In a group conversation at work, you notice that when others speak, this person smiles genuinely, with bright eyes and enthusiasm. However, when you speak or tell a joke, their smile is much weaker, or they don't react at all. Sign, they are comfortable with others but don't have the same level of interest in you. How to differentiate a fake smile from a genuine smile. Genuine smile. The corners of the mouth naturally lift, causing facial muscles to move. The eyes slightly squint, creating a sense of warmth. Comes with a relaxed attitude and natural responses like nodding or engaging in conversation. Fake smile. Only the lips move, while the eyes remain unchanged. The smile appears and disappears quickly. No real connection, it's often accompanied by avoidance, looking elsewhere, or quickly changing the subject. How to react using Stoic philosophy. 1. Don't let it affect you. Not everyone will like you, and that's okay. Don't dwell on it or blame yourself. 2. Observe and take note. A forced smile might just mean they're tired or not in the mood. But if it happens repeatedly, it could indicate they don't like you but are trying to hide it. 3. Focus on meaningful relationships. You don't need to win over everyone. Invest your energy in people who genuinely appreciate you, rather than trying to please someone who doesn't. Sign 5. They frequently interrupt or ignore your opinions. Have you ever been in a conversation where, every time you start speaking, someone either cuts you off or completely ignores what you say? If this happens often, it could be a sign that they don't truly respect you or don't want you to be part of the conversation. In the US, where direct communication is highly valued, being interrupted or ignored is a clear indication that the other person is not interested in what you have to say. Here are 5 real-life scenarios that will help you recognize this behavior. 5 real-life situations in the US to identify this sign. Example 1, a conversation at Starbucks. You and a coworker are having coffee at Starbucks, and you start talking about your recent trip to the Grand Canyon. I just went to the Grand Canyon last weekend. The sunset there was absolutely breathtaking. Them, interrupting, oh, I just visited Yosemite. It's definitely way better than the Grand Canyon. You should go there. Hidden message, my story is more important, and your trip isn't worth discussing. How to respond. You can gently but firmly steer the conversation back to your topic. That sounds great. But let me finish my story about the Grand Canyon. There's something really interesting I want to share. Example 2, being ignored at a party in New York. You attend a networking event at a bar in Manhattan and start sharing about your new job in the tech industry. I just landed a job at a startup in Silicon Valley. We're developing AI for healthcare. The group, ignoring you, changing the subject, hey, did you guys watch the Knicks vs Lakers game last weekend? Hidden message, what you're saying isn't important to us. How to respond. If this happens frequently, reconsider whether this group aligns with your values. There's no need to waste time with people who don't respect your input. Example 3, being interrupted in a work meeting in San Francisco. You're presenting an idea in a meeting, but as soon as you start, a colleague cuts you off and speaks over you. Based on last month's data, I think if we focus our ad campaign on Instagram. Colleague, interrupting, actually, I think TikTok is the more important platform. If you look at my numbers, you'll see why. Hidden message, I don't care about your idea. Let me talk instead. How to respond. Don't let them overshadow you. Wait for them to finish, then respond politely but assertively. That's a good point, but I wasn't finished explaining my thoughts on Instagram. Let me continue. If this becomes a recurring issue, consider addressing it with your manager or setting clear boundaries with that colleague. Example 4, having your opinion dismissed at a dinner in Los Angeles. You're having dinner with a group of friends at a high-end restaurant in LA. You share your thoughts on a recent movie. I just watched Oppenheimer. I was really impressed with Nolan's storytelling. Someone in the group, cutting you off, oh, come on, that movie was way too long and boring. Who even liked that? Hidden message, your opinion doesn't matter, and I don't care about it. How to respond. There's no need to argue. Simply respond calmly. Actually, a lot of people enjoyed it, and I thought it was great. But if it wasn't for you, that's okay too. This allows you to stand by your perspective without getting dragged into a pointless debate. Example 5, they seem distracted when you speak during a meetup in Chicago. You meet someone new at a coffee shop in Chicago and try to start an engaging conversation. But every time you talk, they seem distracted, staring at their phone or looking around the room. I really love traveling and visiting museums. Last time, I went to the Art Institute of Chicago and them, scrolling through their phone, barely listening, wait, what? Hidden message, I don't care about what you're saying, I'm just pretending to be polite. How to respond. Check if they're genuinely interested by asking directly. You seem busy. Should we continue this conversation later? If they keep ignoring you, don't waste your time on them. How to handle this according to Stoicism. The Stoic philosophy teaches, you can't control how others treat you, but you can control how you react. You don't need validation from people who don't respect you. Spend time with those who truly listen and care about you. If someone constantly interrupts or ignores you, that's a reflection of them, not you. Don't let their behavior affect your self-worth. Sign 6. They don't remember important things about you. Have you ever had multiple conversations with someone, yet every time you meet them, they act as if they barely know you? You share details about your life, interests, and important events, only for them to forget everything the next time you talk. This could be a clear sign that they don't truly care about you. Of course, no one can remember everything about everyone. But if someone genuinely values you, they will pay attention to and remember key details. If a person never recalls anything about you, chances are they're either not paying attention or don't consider you an important part of their life. Let's break down specific signs, real-life examples, and how you should respond based on Stoic philosophy. Example 1. They keep asking you the same questions. You've told them you work in tech, but every time you meet, they ask, "What do you do again? You work in finance, right?" When you're actually a programmer. How to respond. If someone doesn't remember basic things about you, don't waste too much energy explaining over and over. If they care, they'll remember. Example 2. They forget important events in your life. You previously shared with them that you have an important job interview coming up. You recently moved or started a new job. You just went through a breakup and are trying to move on. Yet when you see them again, they ask, "So, how have you been?" As if they never heard about these key moments. How to respond. Don't expect them to remember or check in on what matters to you. Spend your time with people who. Example 3. They forget your likes or dislikes. You told them you hate cilantro, yet they keep ordering dishes filled with it. You love classical music, but they assume you're into K-pop. You made it clear you enjoy psychological thrillers, but they keep inviting you to horror movies. How to respond. If someone can't remember these simple details, they probably never really listened to you in the first place. Example 4. They forget your name or mistake you for someone else. Few things are more frustrating than someone constantly forgetting your name or confusing you with another person, even after multiple interactions. They call you by someone else's name in the group. They mistake you for an old friend of theirs. They don't even remember meeting you before. How to respond. If they can't remember who you are after several meetings, stop trying to impress them. It's not worth your time. Example 5. They only remember things that benefit them. Some people only pay attention when it benefits them. They don't remember your interests, but they remember you have a car and can drive them places. They forget you dislike bars, but they remember exactly when you owe them money. How to respond. Be cautious of people like this. They only keep you around for their own gain. Example 6. They forget previous conversations. You tell them an exciting travel story, and they nod along. But the next time you meet, they ask, "Have you ever been to Dalat?" Even though you told them all about your trip in great detail. Or worse, you repeat the story, and they react as if they've never heard it before. How to respond. If someone doesn't remember meaningful conversations, chances are they weren't paying attention in the first place. Example 7. They forget when you help them. You help them study for an exam, fix their laptop, or get through a tough time. But when you bring it up later, they have no memory of it, or worse, act as if you never helped at all. How to respond. Don't expect gratitude from everyone. Help because you want to, not because you expect them to remember forever. How to handle this calmly. 1. Understand that not everyone cares. Not everyone will pay attention to small details about your life, and that doesn't mean you're unimportant. 2. Don't let it affect your self-worth. Your value doesn't depend on whether others remember you or not. 3. Focus on people who truly care. Spend time with those who remember you without needing reminders. 4. Apply Stoic philosophy. Stoicism teaches us not to have expectations about things beyond our control. If someone doesn't remember you, that's their problem, not yours. Share your story. Have you ever met someone like this? What important thing did they forget about you? Sign 7. They make sarcastic remarks but pretend it's innocent. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone says something that sounds nice, but it just doesn't feel right? Real life example. You just finished a presentation and someone says, "Wow, your presentation was really unique. I've never seen anyone present like that before." Smirks. At first, it seems like a compliment, but their tone, facial expression, or body language doesn't match their words. This is a subtle form of sarcasm. They're not openly criticizing you, but they want you to feel uncomfortable. How to recognize this behavior? They use double-edged comments that sound like praise but are actually meant to criticize. Their facial expressions don't match their words, maybe a fake smile, a smirk, or a knowing glance. If you react, they quickly brush it off with, "Relax, I was just joking." How to respond? Stay calm, don't overreact. This is what they want, to see you lose your cool. Don't give them that satisfaction. Respond with confidence or humor, a simple reply like, "Thanks. I also appreciate unique things." Can stop them in their tracks. Don't take it personally, keep growing. People who use sarcasm like this often do so out of insecurity or jealousy. Don't let their negativity get to you. What does Stoicism teach us? Recognize sarcasm, but don't let it control your emotions. Stay composed, observe, and focus on what you can control. If someone doesn't like you, that's their issue, not yours. Have you ever met someone like this? Drop a comment and share your experience.